Salutations, class, and welcome back. Going to be a bit of an oddball stream this time, as I'm still recovering a bit from the illness that has kept me from streaming all year. All 3 days of it so far. So, I'd like to get back into our usual routine and see how long we can last with this sort of nonsense going on right now. We'll be back to Control today, and then later this week, we actually have a particularly big celebration to be having with the release of the next Dead Cells DLC on Thursday, so expect that to be happening for the rest of the week. Wednesday, we might be doing Inscription. Depends on how well I'm feeling on that day, but for now, we can return to our usual Control shenanigans. We might actually have enough time to finish it this day. Although I remember, what really held us up at the beginning of the previous stream was trying to figure out what we have to do with this whole section. We have to get over there to the room on the farthest left, but I don't know which of these two paths is the correct one to take. We are not yet granted a moment to think. Unfortunately, we must oh, wow. Luckily, we have our usual friend, a Blanche Heal, which will score us back most of the health that we lost there. James, welcome back. Xander's voice is going to be a little, behind today. Expect lots of coughing as I'm still a little sick, but overall still very functional. And hopefully we'll be able to figure out what to do with this side of the facility here. How's your New Year's been, James? We haven't seen each other in a while. Make a friend. Senior Officer ID HF970. I wonder how they generate those names. Was everyone just given some obscure tag when they signed up? That's a little dehumanizing. Yeah, we'll be doing our cold speed run today. Seeing how quick we can get over the sickness. Now, I have to remember which way we're heading. Only way we actually managed to go last time was south, I believe. Although if there is an entrance to a console room somewhere around here, we might be able to rotate this train. Although my guess is that we'll be returning from the north end, since this one's immediately locked to us, and so far, as odd as the level design has been in this game, it hasn't necessarily led us to a dead end so early. Knowing the direction most of these obstacles had been blocking us, this is probably the way we're supposed to go. New Year's for you is just a normal day. For me, I usually just use it as an excuse to stay up with friends and get myself absolutely drunk, which, at first, I thought my illness was just a hangover, but it persisted for a number of days. Initially, maybe it was just a hangover, as the issue I was having included a headache. Now, not so much.
This is Director Faded.
Now I'm just having a big drainage issue, so will be quite a bit of coughing to be expected. So, once again, we have to figure out what to do with the little turnstile here. No, not a turnstile, that up there might actually be an answer for us. Hold on. Perhaps all we needed was a break. Well, never mind. I think we already found our answer. That's all we needed. One of the most important things about trying to learn something is taking a break from it. After all, I've had a lot of experience with, well, as I mentioned, even on the prior stream, the sort of guerrilla fighting game stream. When it comes to learning something, your brain needs time to encode it.
Is this what you had in mind?
So in a lot of cases, the best way for you to figure something out is to take a break and actually sleep. Your brain will find the time to reorganize what you've learned, and you might be able to pull out a new concept next time you approach it. Yep, it's gonna be one of those days. Luckily, with a couple of sick days off, I've had time to sit in and snuggle with my own cats. I do believe you've discussed previously that that is a favorite pastime of yours, James. Or at least normally you're resting around with them. Ah! Is that holding the elevator up now? Hey there. I guess our mushroom boys just get to leave. Nope, they're not going to be contained back where they came from. More violent shades of violet, but it appears we're no longer being affected ever since we did that side quest. Now it's time for us to engage in hard mode. Ah, we missed page 1. Wonder where that would be. Night Springs Screenplay, page 2. It is as you told your cousin. Brain juice is a limited resource. Sometimes you need a break to regenerate. Indeed. A lot of people talk about how far they can improve, and to be honest, there's not a one-to-one linear scale with how much effort you put in and how much return you get. It's better to do things a little bit each day rather than trying to cram at the end, but unfortunately, humans' propensity for procrastination will tend to lead them towards the latter. Welcome, Kayla. We'll, be engaging in voice acting hard mode, as I've still got a little bit of coughing to get through. The robust director shoves the nerd-like scientist aside. Oh, well, we're off to a great start, I see. And heads for the... I kind of want to find page 1 of this one. It would be back earlier, wouldn't it? We'll come rummaging for it another time. Let me read that again. It was no. It was, which file was that? Was that correspondence or was it a case file? Darn, I already exited it and it marked all of those as read. Alright, there we are. Ah, we've been able to zoom in this entire time. Makes it a lot more presentable. Resuming. The robust director shoves the nerd-like scientist aside and heads for the portal control panel. He slams the on button with a determined fist. All the more reason. The entire screen is filled with dangerous red. Then it fades away and we see that the two men are in another dimension. The air ripples around them as if they were a 1983 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am sitting in the Texas sun after a 5-day road trip. Is that a... Was that a Smokey and the Bandit reference? I recognize the Pontiac Firebird, the Trans Am, but that's probably the only part of it. Interior of unknown dimension at night. What have you done? You've doomed us. Control yourself, Doctor. Where's this beast of yours? Right there, sir. A horrible, shapeless entity... horrible, shapeless, shifting entity fills the horizon. It can't be described. That's how horrible it is. What a thing of beauty you've been keeping from me. This sounds like an argument going on between, Trench and Darling. The director steps closer to the horrible entity. He reaches out with a steady hand. You are mine now, creature. I will return you to my facility and control your power. Sir, we don't know. The entity instead rushes forward and engulfs the director. He screams in pain as the scientist looks on and does nothing. Like the coward that he is, I take offense to that. But it is on point. I am absolutely a coward. I am not the one being examined. I am the one locked inside a prison. Gradually, the director emerges from the entity. His once sparkling eyes are now empty and dull. The scientist rushes to him. Sounds like he was watching VTubers in there. Sir, we have to escape. We cannot. They're in control now. I got what I wanted. I kind of want to look back for part 1, but no telling where that one is. Let us not dally. If I were not sick, I'd be happy to waste time, but here I'd think I'd like going to point B as quickly as possible. The writing quality is very questionable. It sounds like someone is projecting a lot of their hatred towards their coworkers. Ugh. That's some ugly stuff. Yeah, everything going on here has been some sort of a fungus. Rather ugly at the same time. So I guess that was only there for that little bit of goodies we could have found in that box. I missed this. I hadn't done this in a week. I absolutely missed this.
Christ. Did the Hartman thing? All of this.
Oh, goodness. Well, if our writers know anything about how actual biology works, this would imply that the... Oh, wow. Jaws crushed in and the rest of their face removed. Seems to be the same fate for everyone. Punched right in the jaw. The red blood, assuming a realistic interpretation of biology, would actually mean that this is a recent incident. Of course, I imagine the developers are mostly playing it for drama and for the recognition of a lot of audiences that blood is red, but blood actually... What is it? Clots? Oxidizes? No, it's oxygen that makes it red, I believe. I think it would be clotting. Point is, blood does not stay red outside the body for very long. After only a measure in minutes, it changes to more of a brown color rather than red. So, operating exclusively under the assumption that the incidents in this game are biologically accurate, which is probably false, that would mean that the incident that happened here has been recent. Is this a combination lock of sorts? Perhaps a clue lies for us around here. Wrong object. I'll hazard a guess that it is mostly based off of the placement of these batteries. Meaning which specific spots you plug them in. Oh, wait, of course. We can just follow the cables. So... even better, a number of them are it seems every spot is color-coded. So, we see this one only requires 1 plug. This one requires 2. 4. And then 3. So, presumably, we unlock them in the order of the number of cables they require. Everything plugged in the side will be whichever ones have a red cable lead. Give me that back. We'll just look for whichever ones have a red cable from them. No. See, those cables don't, well, they properly overlap, and they do so here too, but it looks like, yeah, right here, those cables are just clipping through each other. Going back on that statement about the writing, seems a little unimaginative that someone would explicitly write, "Oh, it's so horrible it can't be described." That's just lazy writing. Indeed. So, now that we have 3 boxes, we can unlock the spot over here, which uses the orange cables. One of them leading over here. Let's see. A little hard for some of them to be tracked in the dark, so worst case scenario, we just go to whichever one that we see an orange cable leading from. There should be 1 more left. This one still— oh wait. That was exactly where we would have had to plug it in anyway. Now we look for blue. Get me that darn battery. I must appreciate these staff for at least color-coding their cables. Makes a lot of the electrical maintenance so much easier. I did mention that I picked up a mix box for my fighting game practice, and that one I actually assembled together myself. Of course, that's not a very difficult task to undertake regardless. So there's secrets in there. Where do these yellow cables lead? Up top. You can't remember this one with all the electrical cables? I can imagine. Maybe since it would have been a while. I kind of want to go back and listen to Spider Time again.
All faucets within the oldest house. Be mindful and don't cause any aquatic misconduct. Thank you for your attention.
Well, at least that one was quick. That one might be a hint for something coming up soon. As is the spotlight. Remarkable how durable these things are. Lights out? There, I suppose that's functional enough as a pun. I miss this. I'm gonna miss not playing this game. This is one I aspire to revisit after a lot more popularity. As well, I'll be focusing a lot more on video editing. Luckily, we do have a double whammy with the compilation that I will be posting. 2 for 1, I can, 1, post the individual clips, but recycle them all for the compilation itself. A double whammy. Post each of the highlight clips once.
Dark corners to hide in.
Since one of the most important things about getting
Clear hint.
representation or traction on one of these channels is going to have digestible video bites for people to be looking at. Simple 15-second clips or whatever of shenanigans going on during the streams. But also edit them into a compilation together for anyone who wants to see them all. Yeah, spider time I think was the hardest I've laughed off on stream. I probably should have looked for where I should have been running first. Well, here's Hartman. Well, I thought I would have been able to convert him. Hi, Z. It's been excuse me, hold on. Mute that mic. There. Had to cough my lungs out for a second. It's been a while. So glad to see you back, Z. I missed you. I missed everyone. Oh, here's Slendy. Yep, we're not gonna have much grace there. Hey, where'd you go? I need health. I didn't want to grab him, I wanted to grab something to throw at him. We saw another guy walk in here, didn't we? Of course, we just grab him again instead of finding something to launch at him. That's why lifesteal's such a weird mechanic in a lot of games. You try to optimize how much health you get back by looking to only deal lifesteal damage. At least, in the case of a player like myself, that's usually what I tend to gravitate towards. Metamorphosis. Seems our boy Hartman reads hentai. Did I... Xander say so. Xander is very say so. Xander is dying of spider time withdrawal. That or he has a cold. I definitely say it's not spider time withdrawal, but it feels like I am currently engaging in spider time itself. Move the train forward to activate the lights. I see it's still lowering. Really, we just had to wait it for a little bit. And there we go. That's exactly what reading all those comics will do to you.
All aboard?
I had another joke to say there, but Xander say so. I am your absolutely wholesome Bill Nye scientist anime boy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Eagle Limited bound for Chicago. Please have your tickets ready and enjoy the ride.
So we have all these objects to interact with. Memories to read, it looks like.
Good evening, all you fine-looking folks. Here's some smooth tunes to ease your minds and please your ears as we wait for that delicious dinner to roll right on in.
You know, a lot of the times I've been talking to myself, I've attempted to locate what my tone of voice would fit with for music best, and I think I can do something a little jazzy quite well, with a little bit of practice. But ultimately, a lot of the genres I am interested in, I might be focusing towards, as I've said, punk rock, or we'll get into some sort of metal and such like that, so it might be that over time I'll have to practice something with a lot more rasp or screaming, but now is not the time for me to practice or demonstrate that. I will be coughing my lungs out all evening. That was a very creepy looking something. Kayla, were you not here for the last one? That's Dr. Hartman. He's undergone a bit of an uncomfortable change. He underwent some sort of metamorphosis, double entendre. Entendre, I think is how it's pronounced. I wonder if this is a puzzle or just more lore breadcrumbs.
Well, that was chaotic. Felt like it was trying to tell me something. I wonder if I can make sense of it.
Alright, so that's the hint being dropped that there's supposed to be something going on there. Teach been smoking. No. Teach has only been having an issue with the winter weather. Texans are not accustomed to the cold, and therefore my respiratory system does not do very, very well with these frigid temperatures and all the particulates that come with them. The last thing I'd ever put in my mouth is a cigarette. Allow me to illuminate the situation. So that's part of just one of our miscellaneous quests to clean up all the shadows around here. Hold on. I gotta get back into the groove with all the witty one-liners. Where were you on the night of January 4th? That will suffice. Wait, no. I still wanted to fly. Get rid of that. See what's atop the bridge here. Oh, I know what you're implying other than cigarettes, but that is a less monetizable thing for me to discuss. Although, if you do want to know your professor a little bit more, the only sort of recreational drug use I participate in is getting myself overdosed on alcohol about once every 6 weeks. Sorry that that's very vanilla, but I've only had one trip, and it was a very, very bad one. Did I ever talk about that one? That is a very memorable experience for me. Take a drink. Posture check. It is what it is, indeed. I do actually have something to discuss about that once we're done with this little article here. Entity capture report. Shaded specimen A10, formerly Dr. Emil Hartman. Ego death. Kind of. I'll discuss that in a moment. An alert from the blah blah blah. WA, was that, Washington, I think? I assume that's referring to a US state. Washington, probably. Monitoring station indicated minor blah 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 activity occurring in the area. Agent Estevez was dispatched to investigate inside the blah 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 lodge. She discovered the facility's former owner, Dr. Emil Hartman. He had been converted into a shaded individual per definitions found in file numbers, and displayed violent behavior characteristic of its type. Agent Estevez alerted the on-site research team to the specimen's presence, and, with some difficulty, it was successfully contained in a black rock cell. The cell and its inhabitant were transported safely back to HQ, where the specimen remains detained in the blah 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 sector as part of the blah 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 AWE investigation. Once the investigation is closed, research teams have petitioned to relocate the specimen to the sector for study. So and its inhabitant were transported safely back to HQ, where the specimen remains detained. I don't think he's detained anymore. Now, I can't remember the exact definition of ego death, but I remember that one. So, there's been a number of different times I've attempted to get high. I think it was about 6 separate times I followed the recommendations of my friends and ultimately never had an actual experience with any of them. It was about the 7th time in which I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna kick this one into overdrive. Since about 3 or 4 hits prior didn't do anything for me, I'm just gonna do 5, or I think it was 6. And again, I didn't really feel anything for a good 20 minutes or so. Then there's about 10 minutes right there where I don't remember existing. That might be the ego death you're referring to. But I did suddenly remember that I existed. And I was, according to the experience, or, well, from the person who was trying to mentor me and guide me through the experience, they described it as lagging, which I didn't have any faltering motor skills at the time. But I noticed that my short-term memory only was lasting for approximately 2 seconds, which, for someone who prides himself so much on brain power, the fact that I really could not remember where I was for very long at any moment, I did not like. Now, as I said, I had no faltering motor skill. Ego death is when you truly believe you're dying when you really are just free. No, I didn't at any moment believe I was dying. I was... At first it was, well, I guess nothing's happening. And then I completely dissociated for about, in retrospect, it must have been 10 to 20 minutes, in which my brain just didn't absolutely work. I didn't feel like I was dying. It's just roughly akin to when you get into a car and drive to a place that you regularly drive to, say work or the store or whatever, and you sort of dissociate for the entire duration of that drive. You don't remember the entire period of time between point A and B. That's what it was for me there. It was when I regained my focus that my short-term memory was lasting only about 2 seconds, so I thought, okay, I really need to focus on something, because I don't think I believed I was dying, but I was definitely thinking, oh, I really don't like this feeling. And so, in order for me to bring myself to focus on the task at hand, I left the couch, again, no faltering in my motor function, so I walked over to my room, sat down at my computer, and immediately started playing Sonic Adventure 2, as something I could focus on that required consistent input for me to remember where I was. I did not think I was dying. I just needed to make sure I had something to focus on. It faded after a while, but really the first time I actually had an experience, I forgot I existed, and by the time I was figuratively conscious again, I was rolling around at the speed of sound. Yeah. I don't think I was even playing I can't even describe it. I wasn't playing fighting games. That probably would have required too much brain power and focus from me. But Sonic Adventure is something I could have played somewhat passively, but still had to respond to. I couldn't necessarily autopilot Sonic Adventure. So, that was the first time. And since then, there's been a couple of other times in which, oh, edibles, or try this brownie, or something like that, and upon taking the recommended dose, as the meme goes, these edibles ain't shit. And in that case, those edibles indeed weren't shit, so I haven't even had an experience since then. The reason why I abstain is because it seems taking the recommended dose doesn't ever actually do anything to me until I take too much. So there's a very thin line there that I still have not yet found between feeling nothing and then feeling too much. I cannot find a good middle ground for me to be comfortable with the experience. Welcome, Error. Good evening. So glad to see you return. The big shot is streaming again, and it seems I, for the past 5 minutes, haven't coughed, so maybe I'm doing better. Oh, right, we can zoom in on these, make these a bit more presentable. Hey, Stu. Don't make me cry. Did you hear about Fisher? Got himself in trouble in the motel. Why the hell does anyone volunteer to stake out that place? Gives me the creeps. But hey, at least he came back, if you can call it that. I saw some of the footage they pulled out there with him. Tom down in evidence processing showed me. Crazy stuff. Fisher had the cameras pointed at himself half the time. I'm guessing he went nuts and bolts on day one. He did catch something, though. Got one of those fiber optic cameras under the door of the room he was hiding in, and recorded something out in the hall. Looked like a shadow, maybe human. Tom tried to get the quality up, but it's still blurry as fuck. See, I'm a performer, so I'm going to read my script, even if it gets me demonetized. I wonder if the YouTube algorithm actually scans all these videos and looks for every time I swear. Maybe that's why I haven't been getting any subscribers lately. Because I've been reading all the swear words. Just reaffirms my position. Stay the number 2. Fuck out of the motel. Anyway, up for some shoom later. Lisa got up to an hour and 38 minutes yesterday. New record to beat. See ya, Dave. Yeah, you don't want to take too much, but you experiment until you find the ideal dose. I'd still be looking, but as it stands, the only thing I found to be a reliable experience is alcohol, which has given me far more reliable experiences. Have I done a drunk stream yet? Right, it was Halo. It was just Halo Episode 1. I need to do a drunk fighting game stream. That would be an excellent collaboration opportunity. Alright, who are we looking for? Well, we're looking to avoid him specifically. So
Get those lights on.
okay, so we gotta get that shot. Hopefully the lights don't immediately fade behind me. Is that the end of it up there? Hopefully. One more. Okay. I think that's it, right? Those are not cubes, those are explicitly spots that we are blocked off of. Meanwhile, James doesn't even drink coffee. For the longest time, I didn't either. I found towards some point, I mean, there's been a couple of times off and on that I've had more trouble sleeping, and in those cases I did start becoming a caffeine addict. Nowadays, I don't. I haven't had to do it in a while. So, how was your day, Big Shot? Well, as I've been allegedly ill, I stayed home another day, so I haven't been up for more than... been about 4 hours at this point. Hold on. I've had a particularly late morning, so it hasn't been much of a day so far. But, after a little bit of time to hold my head level, I've been doing a lot better. I miss this experience a lot, and I'm glad to be streaming for everyone again. I'm guessing we need a melee resistance option, because you saw that took out my entire bar of health. Drunk Halo was not fun. Correction. Truth and Reconciliation was not fun. Levels 1 and 2 are a blast in that game, but I'd say for Halo 1, tier list from, in my opinion, worst level is Two Betrayals, without a doubt. Second worst is Truth and Reconciliation. No, wait. Yeah. Second worst is definitely Truth and Reconciliation. The absolute worst level in the game, sorry, we're going backwards. The third worst level has to be level 5, Assault in the Control Room, which is just Two Betrayals, but going forward. After that, I don't think any of the other levels are particularly horrible. Even the library isn't that bad, it's just tedious. I know that level gets a very bad reputation, but it's mostly just redundant corridors. The actual difficulty of that level isn't very bad at all. Alcohol's indeed very deadly, but I still handle it very well. I think in terms of getting drunk, I've only vomited once. So I can still handle that one pretty reasonably. YouTube doesn't care about swearing as long as you don't say it in the first minute. You're fine. Also, hello, this message is delayed because you had to go AFK suddenly. Welcome, Leviathan. So glad to see you back. I know that's allegedly the case, but a lot of YouTube's algorithms are still mostly obscured. A lot of the video essayists I've been watching lately have, swear words censored throughout their entire production. And that is judging from people who allegedly have more experience, and since this is YouTube we're talking about, we don't have any first-party answers that are entirely accurate, are they? So I'd still handle that with a little bit of skepticism. After all, for someone who prides himself on, yes, I am say-so, aside from the occasional swear word, but those obscenities are used with class, I would argue. I do not haphazardly throw them around. Toss this over here, get a dodge, run up over here, and give him a little bit of a battering. Professor's funny. Look, I'm not visiting that website you themed. Would be nice if YouTube was more transparent and creative friendly. That is really the only reason I'm still simulcasting between both Twitch and YouTube. 'Cause as much of the trouble that I hear from Twitch, a lot of people I do generally hear over and over again that they enjoy the Twitch streaming experience a lot more, and truth be told, I mean, most of it comes from the familiarity and sort of the monopoly that Twitch has on the whole streaming idea. After all, Mixer never lasted. There's a lot more integration and activity that you can... Is that a dad joke, Teach? Yes, absolutely. I have to give as many wholesome jokes as I can. Usually puns are the easiest and most wholesome of jokes to make. Yeah, there's problems with both platforms. But a lot of facilities, be it games or other applications, have a lot more integration with Twitch. After all, Dead Cells and Noida both have streaming integration with Twitch, but not with YouTube. Which means that, as long as I still love those games, and a lot of games like them, it's oh, what the heck happened to my crosshair? There you go. As much as I love those games, it's probably still better for me to try to do something with Twitch as long as they're being done. Do remember I told you, have a friend that draws like a god. He's gonna draw for you in your next animation. I look forward to it a lot. I've watched a lot of the recent ones you posted it, and always warms my heart to see my students fulfilling their passions. There we go. Last battery. Keep running, keep running, keep running. I'm gonna need light. Still really looking forward to Altair and hope it works out too. For a bit of context for anyone not in the loop, there's another streaming service coming out soon called Altair, which allegedly has a lot more creature comforts than Twitch or YouTube, and I do not remember the entire scope of them. Leviathan, will you be glad to educate us? You are another VTuber, so I could assign you as a guest teacher, I suppose. Now, I do approach that idea with the skepticism I had. After all, Mixer, according to a number of streamers I heard about, seemed like it was going to look promising. But even if something new does have better features, brand loyalty is a very strong thing to factor in, so a lot of people will just end up sticking with Twitch. Which is why monopolies are such a problem, because as much as people advocate for free markets, they're not rational meritocracies. Humans love making the easiest decision, which may not be the most correct one, and if someone is already familiar and accustomed to an existing brand, they're likely to stick with it. Hence, even if Altair does have a lot of better features with it, there might not be enough people sticking with it. Any games are you waiting on this year? Number 1 is King of Fighters 15. Absolutely. Which I haven't picked up much of BlazBlue yet. I've done a little bit of labbing for that, but I think soon enough I'm going to be playing a lot more of that. I think in the case of BlazBlue, I might forego streaming that for a little bit until... Oh. Darn, there was a box we could have looked in. I might forego streaming a BlazBlue stream myself until... Or, well, unless I have someone to practice against, say, as a collaboration. I might just end up joining some other people's streams and, while not streaming myself, just show up to anyone else's public lobbies.
Timing. Hartman just came through here. God, he was hideous. He tore the security door into the Breakfalls AWE site wide open. He was so ugly. Like, wow. I got a good look at him, and Christ, he does not look like he used to. The hiss must have messed him up or something. He looks like a bar rag that's been twisted by the world's strongest man. Or a monster from some 80s horror movie. You know, back when it was all practical effects? Ugh, nasty.
Real
Did you say
professional,
something?
Winston.
Remember, I can't hear you. Never mind, just go after Hartman. Ah, so disgusting.
Darn, I was hoping he was gonna keep going. Oh, Langston, you nutcase.
Rewritten. The darkness wants to hide the past to make me lose my way. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, and rewrite it. They are drawn to the mystery.
And if everything goes like the plan, you're working on something more interesting. I look forward to it, Era, as always. Altair does not demand you stream constantly or the algorithm shoves you down to the bottom. And will, I assume, favor less popular streamers,
Let's
so
go take care of it.
I look forward to the equalizer approach. Very much fond of evening the odds myself. Each streamer will get 5 emotes for free right off the bat. I still need to commission someone for them. If at least something to just post in the server. Oh, wait, no, that's the big guy. I thought he was just another one of those flying explodey guys. Hey, where'd he go? So, games I'm looking forward to. Number 1 is obviously King of Fighters 15. I did get sidetracked by discussing BlazBlue there. DNF Duel, of course. I know there was that other anime fighter that, wasn't it just it had one of those really, really bizarre Japanese names. I think it was actually even just a re-release of an older game. Not so interested in that one. The one that had the, Railgun Girl playable in it. Have you ever considered playing FNAF Security Breach? I personally don't care for Five Nights at Freddy's at all, unless that is... you know what? I'm gonna put my foot down. I'm not going to play any cheap jump scare games. Psychological horror, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be very interested in it. Like, Resident Evil or, some of the other better indie horror games. But in terms of the jump scary stuff like, FNAF or a lot of the really, really, really low budget indie projects, no. I'm very much not interested in jump scary games whatsoever. That's actually one of the things that put me off of streamer culture whatsoever. I'm interested in the actual interaction potential between streamer and viewer.
Thank you for meeting with us again, Dr. Allman.
And watching me just shriek is kind of a one-way interaction.
Thus far has been of some small use.
It's been invaluable, Doctor. Really, we have a much clearer picture of this event, thanks to your accounts.
Well, I do consider myself a keen observer of...
We did have one question, though. You mentioned in an earlier conversation that your patients displayed, and I'm paraphrasing here, unnatural abilities that you in fact encouraged during their time in your lodge. It'd be very helpful if you could fill us in on the details there.
Of course. Like yourselves, I work to understand and even bend the rules of our earthly paradigm.
Still can't breathe.
My patient's well-being was paramount, of course, but I would hardly be a man of science if I did not reach out at the underlying truth. As I stated in my written proposal, I believe working alongside your organization could be greatly beneficial to both parties. Sharing notes, as they say.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all we need to hear. Remy?
They just shut him down right there.
Found in breach of codes 4, 8, and 74 of the Federal Bureau of Control Criminal Offense System.
What? You can't do this. I am a well-connected man. You're making a dire mistake, my friend.
You will be detained until further notice, and all personal property will be confiscated, including the Cauldron Lake Lodge.
That's preposterous. You can't just seize my property. I'm a United States citizen. I have rights.
Oh no, he's a sovereign citizen.
I'm offering you years of research.
My dad works at Nintendo.
You're making a mistake. You have to listen to me. You have to listen.
What a man-child. Eldbound needs some sleep. Have fun, everyone. Franbo, that's right. I need to actually make a formal list. I know I haven't done the Saturday stream suggestions in a while. I might... You know what, real quick, before I forget, let's just update that on the server right now. Indeed. It has been nearly a month since... Wow. It's been almost a month since the 6-month celebration, and it's been a long time since there's been any Saturday votes. Let's go ahead and just start writing down a list here. Franbo, inscription, and then I'll post a formal poll after the stream. We'll be doing Ranbo, Inscription. Noida, I might actually be returning to soon. Dead Cells is already on the list. We know that one's going to happen. If there's anything immediately on your mind that you do want to see on the channel, go ahead and post that in the stream suggestions on the Discord server right now. I will post a formal list soon. I'm not really going to be sure about doing a Saturday viewer selection just yet, just so soon, as I don't know how the streaming schedule is going to be this week, between the potential of getting sick again at any point in time. But do remember, since we just finished Halo Infinite and we are about to finish Control, that opens up a lot of the slots for what we'll be playing soon. So I'll be picking up fighting games again for one. Inscription very soon. I'll be playing Dead Cells with the new DLC, absolutely. I'm looking forward to trying to pick up Pokemon kind of related stuff. After all, I did mostly design myself, somewhat resembling a Pokemon professor, having the absolutely silly colored hair as one part. But do keep that in mind. That's always a place to post. Good night, Era. I don't know if I've said that yet. But I know you're one for long goodbyes, so I know you haven't left so soon. Indeed, I hope you sleep well.
Again. I had a plan. I know it. I forgot.
And here we go. If there's ever a time for me to loudly blow my nose, now would be it.
He's coming. I've got to get out of here. Dive.
I did not take a look at the Vito avatar. He must have been spazzing out. Spicy! I can finally breathe again.
Whatever is going on with Wake, he clearly needs some help.
Being an author will do that to you. Legends Arceus could be good, but in an attempt to not be disappointed by yet another Pokemon game, you're keeping your expectations at rock bottom. Such is the case I've heard for Sword and Shield, but I've heard generally positive reception for the Diamond and Pearl remakes, which I have wanted to do for a while, and already I can't breathe again. So we're gonna have to find some lights, it looks like. Keep opening doors until we have an answer. More lumpy shadows on the ground. I've also never done a Nuzlocke before, which maybe it would be time to do a first one pretty soon. I'd rather not do a Nuzlocke for a first-time experience with a game, but who knows. Swallow the snot like a man. I'm not going to do that because that is literally the reason I've been coughing my lungs out for the past few days. Laying down to sleep and... well... that absolutely destroyed my throat, and I hadn't had as painfully sick of an experience in the past 2.5 years prior. No, wait. It would have been 3.5 years since the last time I was that miserable. Absolutely not. Ah, there we go. There's step one. Guess he didn't want to watch a movie. No Netflix and chill with the blob of shadows, I see. So I guess we gotta figure out some other way to light this place up. The remakes are not good, not bad in your opinion, so as average of an experience as they come. Ah, there we go. So they're just less obvious in the other rooms. Yeah, it still looks like someone's trying to hide an anaconda or something over those sheets. This is not the time for a nap. What I think would be a very interesting thing to do would actually be going through a lot of older Pokemon games. After all, the one mainline series game, or game pair that I wanted to play, that I still have not yet, is Black 2 and White 2. Which I know that game also has a hard mode function, so one thing I would be interested in is trying to play a lot of the older Pokemon games. Possibly with some Nuzlocke challenges.
Going mad. Wake had to escape, right? His escape. Wake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special. Something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence.
VTubers, obviously. Could you imagine? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Writing idea. Aliens attempting to make contact with humanity through becoming streamers. I gotta write that one down. That one, it's brilliant. Has anyone done that yet? I know there was that throwaway joke in Transformers about how they learned the English language through reading through all of the humans' internet. That is an idea. Could be made even more egregious, since assuming aliens wouldn't be able to replicate or... Wait, that's... Hold on. Okay. Hear me out on this one. Hear me out. So... Oh, wait, hold on. If we're gonna be plotting something here. Premise. Aliens are trying to make contact with humans to learn their mannerisms and cultures and stuff like that. But they don't know how to perfectly replicate the image of a human yet. Like, they couldn't, say, CGI up a human streamer, because there'd be a sort of uncanny valley with them not knowing how to, even if they could graphically create as convincing of an environment as possible to stream. Say if you were watching someone that had a perfect CGI recreation of a human, they'd have to have the proper mannerisms and body language, which is explicitly what the aliens would be trying to learn. So, since they cannot perfectly imitate what a human would look like while streaming, the aliens become VTubers, which gets away with a little bit of leniency and expressiveness, and it will be a lot easier to mimic. There you go. There's a screenplay. The first screenplay written by Xander. Aliens becoming VTubers to fake their way into human culture. And if you want to be really, really funny, one of them, or even all of them, could literally have the VTuber identity of a perfectly normal fellow human. Obviously, something like that would have to be comedic.
Another replica. Like the one they made for Ordinary.
This is the director. I need a ranger at this location immediately.
Nice to see a director out in the
Weren't
field.
we just... Okay, no, we weren't. Wait. I completely bunked out for a second. Weren't we in an elevator? Am I an alien? Unfortunately, I am as human as the rest of you. You will know that because... well, I was going to make a joke about self-deprecation, which is as human as anything else. But I know people don't like that on streams. I was literally about to just say something self-deprecating for my argument as for why I am a human. Z is just trying to convince me to get a face reveal, huh? It's not happening. That's literally the reason why I'm VTubing, is so I never have to do a face reveal. Hollow Knight is also actually on the list. And I'll give you a little, condition there. Not a condition, but a caveat. Hot take. Xander still hasn't managed to convince himself to like Hollow Knight. I've tried on 3 separate occasions to play through the game, but I can never convince myself to love it.
Oh, Langston was right. You are pretty rough on the eyes,
Oh, what? We no longer he no longer has Shadow to hide in. He's losing way too much health. This is gonna be a multi-phase boss. I know it. And those headshots are going to be rather low profile, aren't they? Go take your medicine. Sure you won't feel good. Thing you said was a fever. Hold on. Hartman trying to back it up on me. I will not have any of it. Is he crab walking? Is he literally bent over? Are those his ribs? No, he's bent over forward, but then his ribs are ejecting backwards out of his back. Or did he steal someone else's rib cage? And he's right behind me. He's gonna be right behind me. Great. Now my audience believes I'm an alien. Or class, I must say. In fact, I did actually take my medicine prior to the stream error. It's not going to be up. Oh, wow. He shielded. Alright, fine. You get to hear Professor sneeze. I'm about to do it. Or not. Ever have those issues where you're about to sneeze and it suddenly cuts out? Darn, I had a setup and everything. Could you imagine? Yeah, obviously I'm a real human. Listen to me sneeze as a real human would. If that is your theory, James, then how come I am just now having the issues with coughing so much? Oh, I see. He knocked out one of the batteries, so we gotta... Where'd it just go? Okay, there it is. Yeah, let me move. If you want me to at least beat the boss, I gotta move back over to the light. Okay. So I see what the issue is here. We're gonna need our energy back, for one. And then we're gonna need to grab that battery and plug it back in. I mean, not like I could have dodged that. I would have needed the energy. My class is laughing at me. Well, it's what I'm here for. I was a class clown in school, which, even at the cost of humiliating myself, one of the things that brings me the most joy is making someone else laugh. Or cheering someone else up. Started streaming before your arrival on this planet, then this happened. Yeah, you know that whole New York square with the ball dropping? That was actually my spaceship. That was my spaceship touching down in New York. hold on. Oh, that one hurt. That one hurt. But, you know the medicine's working because it's all leaving a system. And he's sneezing on me too, huh? Okay, so that's the tell. He starts glowing red and then he just spits everywhere. Good acting, alien. What did you do to the big shot? Oh, you don't get it, do you? Xander was not replaced by an alien. Xander was an alien the entire time. You think real people have red hair? Absolutely not. And that face reveal I've been teasing, it's already been there from day one. Fine, I'll play into the joke. Xander is an alien invader from the anime planet. Where the hell's that other battery? There it is. Run, 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 run. No, grab that. As I said, it's gonna be a multi-phase boss. Oh wow, you're ugly. Is he just not going to release that until he has line of sight? Because it looked like he was... well, yeah. And then he only did release it once he had line of sight. I wonder... Ah, the piercing is getting through his shields. So presumably once we get his health down to low again... great. Is that gonna kill? Nope, that's just gonna... Oh, wait, yep. That's what's gonna happen. You heard it here first. Anime is real. Third time's the charm, since that's what it usually happens to be here. You trusted me. I'm a streamer. You should know rule 1 of streaming is that you are watching a performance. That is literally rule 1 of streaming. It is a performative art. As genuine as the connection may feel, this is essentially an actor you are paying attention to. As for my unkindness towards Hartman here, I would wager he brought this on himself. You know, given that all the enemies are usually glowing red anyway, it's hard for me to tell exactly when his attacks are supposed to be telegraphed. That's an idea. If he's glowing red, maybe we can bait an attack with a shield and block it. Okay. So I was trying to weave out from behind cover to see if I could bait him into attacking and then hiding behind cover immediately, but if we provide our own cover... There we go. Actually, real quick, let's go ahead and use charge. Oh wait, what was surge? Adhesive nah. Ammo recovery and weapon hits. I think we can swap that one out. Oh, well, projectile speed can replace the other one. Oh, well, then that one can replace the other one. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like... no, I think we can do it this one. A little underwhelming on the damage, but I think it should be just fine. Okay, so he'll literally just glow red, and we don't exactly have an indication that he's immediately going to do something. Or in that case, what he's going to do. Run to the lights, and then we gotta figure out which directions we need to go. Someone should tell Dr. Hartman that only spiky-haired anime characters are allowed to have this much edge. So you mean you were acting when you said that you... So I mean I was acting when I said I liked your fan arts. Well, one thing to know... One thing to know about the whole performative part of acting is... And this is something you will hear from a lot of the best actors is... Well, in the similar vein of... Write what you know. How the heck did that blow me up at my face? Get back into the light. Hold on. Let me resume answering that question once I run my way over here. Or at least when I'm already on my way. So, I did tell you that there is a performative aspect in streaming, but sort of the double whammy there is that doesn't mean that every part of the performance is a lie, per se. After all, one of the most important rules about successful writing is write what you know. Same with acting. Act what you know. That's why you see so many characters typecast, or so many actors cast into a certain type. And another reason for why I picked a scientist. Or, even more specifically, a programmer or an engineer. Outside of the performance, I am also a programmer. Essentially, act what you know. So, when I tell you that I enjoy your fan arts, that does not mean that I am lying. That does not mean I am lying to you. Because, for the most part, I am still relatively going to be telling the truth. After all, I've had a lot of people comment on, oh, you're always in character when you stream. Well, maybe not so much as my character isn't too separate from my real identity. Indeed. Sometimes the best acting is based in truth. Exactly the case. Man, you were joking. Unfortunately, I didn't actually have enough time to read that, as I've been staring at the main screen this entire time. Maybe now is where I need Pierce. Nope, that's still just going to damage his shield. So unfortunately, I couldn't quite read the joking part of your message. Regardless, that's still an interesting and proper subject to discuss there. This guy's reeling off some worm through time shit right here. Guy's literally got Seraphic Wing hitting everywhere. I see how it is. Where'd he go? He's not feeling very well either, is he? I'll say. That guy's got legs for days. He's got Metaton legs. Well, sure. Attack me the instant I actually run out of the energy. Is there a way to get out of that? I did try to dodge. I did try to dodge that, but I was out of energy. Wait, maybe we literally just have to shoot him off of us once he does that grab. Alright, so. Approaching this, how we approach a lot of fighting game matchups, we'll need to look at the problem we keep facing, that is, for the most part, his grab. Wait a minute. Does jumping in this game free us from his command grab? Am I literally just fighting a grappler here? A grappler zoner of sorts. We're fighting DBFC Broly. He's DBFC Broly, and just as cancerous. Okay, could someone please tell me what the animation tell was for that? He just literally exploded on us. Come on. Alright, Hartman. Grappler Zoner is a combination you do not like the sound of. DBFC Broly, look him up. He has incredibly big projectiles that force you to block, and then he still has command grabs when he gets up close. On top of having a huge amount of health, and overall, generally decent damage. I don't remember him having, like, absurd amounts of damage. After all, that would basically mean he has everything if he has the range and defense and power. Block. There we go. Put this back where it belongs. I can't think of anyone else. Is there anyone else that fits into the Grappler Zoner archetype? Here. Keep a little bit of power in case he shows up right in front of us. See, he held on to that red glow for a long time before he actually attacked. A little hard to read what his animations are saying. That actually reminds me, as sort of an interesting take on the question of what are you looking forward to in 2022. Okay, fine. Gotta head back into light, get my energy back. Spider time for Smash. I love it. Okay. So, new plan, alright? We're not mad because, presumably, this is the final of final bosses here. This should be relatively expected that we'll have something this difficult to deal with. Phase 1, pretty easy. Phase 2 when he starts knocking out the lights. Hold on. So, Phase 2 when he starts knocking out the lights. We stay in the well-lit area for a moment, because he will summon a few of his little soldiers to be coming after us. And the reason we lost that time is because they shot at us while we were trying to run to plug in the next light. We'll need to eliminate all of the smaller soldiers before we go on our run, turning the lights back on. Hey Joy, welcome. We've got everyone here today, don't we? Well, I said phase 1 was easy. That's not really quite the case, is it? Okay. Hartman is currently the most difficult boss, but I assume that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Years of training led up to this moment, absolutely. After all, remember that I too am being nerfed. Having to fight my own sickness. Okay, so it looks like the hiss glow just basically means he's ready for his next attack. Doesn't necessarily mean that he is immediately going to use it. So we will have to pay a lot more attention to specifically which animation he's undergoing. Also, the graphics when he does his teleport and the fact that you can somewhat see his silhouette even as he disappears. A little off-putting. Difficult to read. And he's gonna immediately explode, so run over here, grab the health, and continue evading. Perfect. Oh, could you imagine that? A grappler with a teleport. Man's literally pulling the Goku Cell maneuver on me. Charging up his power and then teleporting right in front of me before he uses it. Alright, so one, we're already here. Let's plug that one back in. First one should usually be a freebie. Attack the soldiers because we want them to not shoot at us while we're cruising around. And I think he only spawns 2 in the first part of the fight, so now we run over to the other side where it looks like the other battery has been unplugged. We want to avoid Hartman as much as possible, so run over here. Let our energy recharge and resume running. Always read your text completely. I do! I do, unless I'm currently in the heat of battle, and given that this is our most difficult control fight so far, I have to focus as much as I am allowed to on the fight itself. During the much more relaxed part of the streams, I do always read. Astonishing how little damage that does to him. Guess we will have to focus on Pierce. How does this compare to the Marshall fight? Marshall was much easier if I remember. I think we only had to do that one twice. That's not bad. We'll also remember that our evade gives us back a little bit of ammo. Bye, Z. Thank you so much for your attendance, always. Oh! What perfect timing!
Won't be a problem anymore, Langston. But investigations need someone to run it.
VOD will always be up on YouTube in case you'd like to look at it again.
No, thank you. Ma'am, I'm getting something on my terminal here, an AWE alert from Bright Falls, Washington. But it might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future. And we're in lockdown, there shouldn't be any incoming signals.
Maybe it was active before we went into lockdown? Are there agents on site?
Let me check. Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the site, so she should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes recently.
Things set in motion. If the alarm's true, then so is the reason for the alarm. The effect must follow the cause. It's happening again. A return.
Foreshadowing for the next Alan Wake game. Wasn't there another one planned soon? Wasn't that actually literally, next in line for Remedy? Gotta go sleep. Just an all-nighter gaming night with the boys. Good luck teaching. May that cough be gone soon. It looks like it might be another day or two, possibly. I did hear a lot of news about Alan Wake. Weren't they having a remake, or is that explicitly just the next game coming out? I think I heard something about there being the next Remedy game planned for release in 2022, and that would be the other part of my answer of... Or that would be the next part of my answer for what am I looking forward to in 2022. After all, games on average, or you could say the mode, if you were to graph out the average production times of games, most commonly is about 3 years. Oh, the remake is already out. That's another thing on the list, is I want to play Alan Wake and Quantum Break. I'd never played a Remedy game before Control here. So, I've loved the experience. Ah, you're still alive? Nope, we still got more fighting. And you too. I said you too. Yeah, you guys go solve the other problems in the corners. Well, there you have it. Xander just TK'd. Not Tiger Knee, but Team Kill. Ah, snipers. The shooter equivalent of the zoner, and just as unfun. All right. Well, is that it for Control? I'm gonna go back and see if we can talk to Langston. See if he has anything to say to us. Funny how this DLC seemed shorter than the Foundation one. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. It's just those two DLCs, right? Anywho, I do remember reading on Wikipedia, I think. I was looking up Remedy Studios, and I think they did say that there was a sequel for Control in production. If Remedy is coming out with a game this year, then that will be next on my answer. No matter which game. No matter which game it would be. This was our way in, right? Yeah, we didn't have a door open in this direction. That was a very long fall. I know we can teleport from Control Point, but what I'm testing here is if we have any dialogue to be had on the way out. Nope, seems that's just it. Two new ability points, although we're not using... Heck, we're not using much of our abilities anymore at this point. Wow, this place did have a lot of control points. Huh. AWE loading bay. There were the little vents over in that direction. Wonder exactly what those lead to. Containment. Let's go to... Let's go check on our boy Langston, see if he has anything to say to us. Ah, it's so good to be back. I miss this. December was a very, very slow month for me altogether, but it's a new year, and I am reinvigorated with inspiration to go ahead and keep doing stuff. Heck, even with just a week off, I've missed you all so much.
At least some of them, my good little buddies. Hi there, ma'am. How's the fridge repair coming along?
Ah, no new dialogue, it looks like.
I'll see you later, Langston.
I'll be here.
A shame. Very well, we have one more important mission to undertake. Still secrets and such, the Eagle Limited train, for example, and also spider time. That is literally what I was about to say. I need one more spider time in me. Where was that? Shifted offices, I think. Working on some plan if everything goes well. If everything goes great. You can finally be free. Reaching heaven. Standing so tall you'll see beyond the darkness. Personal projects are good. One of the best ways to keep yourself happy, I'd wager. you'll see a lot of people talking about the secret of happiness. At least, look around the Eagle Limited room. After a spider time real quick, which I think would have been over here, right? No. So this is what they meant by shifted offices, the part of the building that's been so far corrupted that we can't even read anything. Oh. I am not playing that one again. This time not at the train, but around the Eagle Limited room. No, it was on the other side of that door. That's right. No, don't follow me all the way in. Well, I've already lost my way. Don't hit you with the spam tin. You always call me Big Shot. How could I not hit you with the spam tin? I know it's always what you're looking for. Still feeling groggy. Well, I can't find where that little control point was, so off to the other side I go. Which was down here at the bottom of the pit. Nope. Absolutely not. Well, goodbye, Jesse. You've completed your mission, and we will no longer be needing your services. Would you look at that? Perfect comedic timing. I am a genius, after all. Yeah, I still couldn't quite read where that was supposed to be on the map. Alright. Eagle Limited AWE. But not near the train. You started the big shot yourself. I did do it with the Spamton voice acting, but I will argue, and feel free to prove me wrong, I will argue that it was you who kept calling me Big Shot. At least that would be my argument. Guy looks like he's straight from a Fallout game. So are we looking inside or near? Do we get another Dr. Darling Dynamite here? There, we have a grappler and a zoner now. But, let me continue. Since right now it seems I'm not going to be interrupted. Also on the interesting list of things that I'll be looking forward in 2022. With the advent of rollback, I'd like to try to take another look at cross-tag battle, which might just need a change of perspective from yours truly in order for me to engage with it. I approached it looking at individual characters, and accordingly felt disappointed, as a lot of the characters that I played, well, with how a lot of characters had their moveset simplified, dumbed down, or in some cases, even their entire character identities lost, I might try to change my look and look at the interactions between character pairs in cross-tag battle instead. Manuel, welcome. Or should I say, men welcome. So, if I reapproach cross-tag battle with a slight change in perspective, I might find myself enjoying it. It's getting rollback netcode, so the online will be much more palatable to play. Look around the AWE. Oh. Nope. Thought that was something we could have read. Help me out with this one, James. Is it inside this room or is it outside of it? Think it started when you drew me as Spamton. Definitely. And one of the reasons I love Spamton so much is sort of an implied identification with him. Or a relation, I'd say. He is, above all else, essentially a performer, even though it was mostly for, presumably, advertisements. Check the room. How do I get in there again? Ah, there we go. There's our pathway up. Oh, is this where Spider Time was? No. There's another little document for us. More of our screenplay. Eagle Limited Supplement. Oh, the yellow one. The Bureau has gathered concrete evidence that the train derailment was in fact the work of the paracriminal group... paracriminal group known as... blah, 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 which, according to the Bureau's intel, has shown a concerning interest in experimenting with the artificial manufacturing of altered materials. Knowing the group largely operates in the American Midwest, the Bureau worked alongside the FBI to ascertain their movements and rendezvous locations. This cooperation provided agents with information that led to an arrest in conjunction with the AWE case. Under suspicion of involvement, blah, 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 was brought in for questioning. An interrogation performed by Agent blah, blah, blah resulted in the suspect being kept in a holding cell for 2 days without food, in breach of the Paracriminal Rights Act. Afterwards, the suspect confessed to an involvement in the blah, blah, blah group and provided information on other members in exchange for his freedom. The Yellow Room. Ah. We didn't take much of a peek in here, indeed. There might still be another little file or something around on here, right? No, I absolutely do not mind if you call me Big Shot. I actually find it a little, oh, what's the word? I think it's fun, honestly. It harkens back to one of the most important historic playthroughs on this channel. After all, it was... Wait, is this the wrong one? It might be. Are we looking for a document? Because I might have already picked it up but not read it, unless it's something on a TV or another recording. Your life is potentially light. Well, yeah. You've been watching an Alien VTuber for, what, 4 or 5 months? Might be 4. Yeah, probably 4. I think I started with, I did start with Noida. The very first episode was right before Psychonauts 2 came out. Well then, we will look elsewhere. Maybe from Morrow? We do have a small indication of the yellow rooms on the map. so we'll just check some of the other little spots for them. Do we do we potentially have any more interaction with our boy Ati? He's a very wonderful boy. No more documents in here. Usagi, welcome. We are just finishing up our control playthrough. Looks like we have done all of the main story and DLCs. So right now, we're trying to look for the cleanup with a few Easter eggs here and there. Professor's still a little ill. Just waiting until he became a real big shot, and then you say, do you remember you? Well, it's going to be impossible for me to forget anyone who provides me fan art, especially since it's been 3 separate pictures. The thing you're thinking of is in a safe room at Framaro. Are those shown on the map? There it is. There it is. Now that the lights are on, we can finally see this place.
Yes, B? Worry who? See to see.
I think it's spider time.
Hello?
Hello! Great about us today. Long roads and no hardly. You are Bygone?
Sure. Why are you locked up in here?
Ah, casual turning. Back and front. And Gerbil took the top head. Not being pressed for that. Lady going and loosing back for eye?
Sorry, I think I'm misunderstanding you. What do you want?
The head? The head for tails? For reading news, jars, words, and tumble. The reading head.
Okay, take it easy. I'll take a look. So maybe it wants something to read. Or a jar. Let's just see what we can find.
Psychonauts was one of my absolute favorite streams, and I'm sad that... Funny enough, I actually picked up a new viewer from the Psychonauts 1 stream, but I don't think anyone new followed for Psychonauts 2. I also think the person who followed for the Psychonauts 1 stream has since unfollowed the channel. That's a call out right there. After all, I haven't seen their names since the first 1 or 2 weeks afterwards. And I think they followed me on Twitter and then promptly have since disappeared. If you really want to hurt my psyche, then just seeing someone unsubscribe, or, well, seeing a loss of a single subscriber or a Twitter follower means a lot to me when I'm so little, usually in the case of, oh, did I do something wrong? Always looking for myself to provide more, essentially. So if I see anything falter, I'm mostly worrying about, well, did I do something wrong or have I not done enough? Of course, a lot of that is going to be me focusing too much on myself. It's so difficult to get someone to show up in the first case. Find what the prisoner wants. Okay. Yeah, and it is going to be somewhere in here, so we can continue talking while we're running around. So, I do understand the case of not letting a lack of success go to your head, so on and so forth. But one of my current hang-ups is wishing I knew how to perform better for all of you. And if I see someone unsubscribe or unfollow, it's gonna impact me a lot because it's so meaningful to get one person to show up, subscribe, and interact in the first place. Now you remember why you thought it was the room, because that's where the collectibles are in. Okay. Oh, goodness.
This could be what it wants. Let's give it a shot.
So yeah, I have seen a few people just spontaneously unfollowing. Really, a lot of the issues I have with that is just I really wish I was doing more for the rest of you guys.
Scotch and peppers? Head.
Okay, I wasn't right. Let's try something else.
Scotch and peppers, huh?
Maybe it'll like this.
Head. A-S-B-E. Head.
Nope. Let's keep trying.
Is there a third room in here? Ah, the bots. They return. I missed you. This is something we'll have to live with. There are more items in the rooms. Okay.
Maybe this will do the trick?
He said head and ASBE both have 4 letters, so it might be something with 4 letters.
Ping pong. Ahead.
Guess that wasn't it either. Huh.
Yeah, that was a bot. If they show up out of nowhere, have no avatar, and post something that looks like a link.
This might do it. Maybe.
Hopefully that's it. I imagine this is one of those cases where it doesn't matter what order you do it in, it's just going to be whatever the last item you bring.
You are school and dirt for losing.
Keep that up and I won't help you anymore.
You are school and dirt for losing. Would one of the alien VTubers talk like that? Well, in that case, it would have presumably been...
Let's see if this will do it.
Presumably it would have been, Ball, if we're going off the 4-letter rule.
Furry clocks, lady. The head. 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 No snacks. Head is top of all up and down. At the top. The top head.
Wait, does this thing actually mean head? Head is in a body's head? Where the hell am I gonna find that? And how did it lose it?
Can't mantle onto that, can you? That looked like our best way to get up there. So I'll have to climb up on this little cliff here. I made you come back every time. Usually you need to find that exact vibe of streamer that you look for. I did know about the whole VTubing scene starting from, well, technically starting from Kizuna Ai's performances, and that was, what, back in 2017, I think, was when I first heard about her stuff. VTubing's been a bit of a niche performance before then. Since then, I discovered Hololive around September or October of the top head. September or October of 2018, was it? Or was it 2019? It was late 2019 that I discovered Hololive, and again, it sounded cute, but I didn't have any lasting attachment to any of them. I did talk about how streaming is performative, essentially. And one of the reasons I wasn't so interested in the whole streaming culture thing for the longest time was because, I mean, sure, I enjoy acting in a bit of performance, but a lot of performances did make me feel like it did make me feel like it could have been a little disingenuous. It's difficult for me to describe. I couldn't find myself getting attached to any of the streamers. It seemed a bit too professionally produced. As someone who has his huge fixation on punk rock, which is my absolute favorite genre of music, one of the reasons I loved it was because it was flawed but honest. And so, it wasn't until Kiryu Coco came along in the Hololive squad. She actually had her debut around December 2019 or so. Find the sector's head office. Oh, that head. We're in the completely wrong place. So, Kiryu Coco having the obviously not doing any sort of professional voice acting and, well, being an absolute potty mouth with her frequent swearing and grotesque humor, I was a lot more interested. It seemed a lot more honest and a lot less performative, which perhaps I'm going backwards on that by being such an otherwise say-so streamer and even doing my own voice acting. But I do hope I may portray a bit of honesty past all of that. After all, frequently I have confessed just how much better I feel from seeing so many people return for these streams. The feeling is mutual, I can assert that to you. The specific attachment and interest you might have in my streams, I would say, goes both ways. It does a lot for me knowing that people are so interested in seeing me stream. Fine, I'll take the distraction. Summary. The purpose of internal investigation X093037 is to examine the containment failure of specimen SI1 that resulted in the deaths of blah 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 agents. An inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier showed no faults. Investigators suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researchers' notes on the specimen from the internal network. On the blah 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 of blah 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 blah, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive blah 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 blah. Cross-referencing that date with various logs found only two events inconsistent with the sector's daily routine. 1. The air filters were changed. And 2. An hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice blah 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 entered the sector regarding an unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it is likely that Mrs. blah 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 presence is relevant to the specimen's escape and to the blah blah blah. Investigation is ongoing. The head. Huh? Oh boy. Well, this should mean we're closer to our answer. Everyone has that specific streamer that they'll be looking for. And luckily, there's a streamer for every shade. At first, I was very uncertain that I would be getting much of a performance, as, after all, a lot of the stereotypes about streamer it's the helmet.
A helmet? For a head. Is that what the prisoner meant? I guess there's only one way to find out.
Well, even if you never come back, can't forget me. That was the first fan art. That is, and I will say this every single time, in my opinion, the single most heartwarming and invigorating thing as a streamer. Firsthand, I will tell you that no achievement I ever make, no subscriber milestone will ever mean as much to me as a fan work, as that is truly a labor of love, of passion, and that's kind of something I need right now. And for the past 2 years, a lot of people have been needing it. That's one of the reasons I began, was everyone just needs a little bit more of a companionship. Please do remember that I'm a streamer and this is a...
River Chicken Station! Far tastier. Press any button?
This is a parasocial relationship, and it is essentially the relationship you will have with an author or an actor.
So the helmet is what you're after, huh?
Tubes! Snug and grape. Pure grapes. Hail a lady.
You're welcome, I guess. Did Kirkland lock you up in here?
Chief Trouble? Yes. Titties all around. But holdouts and happiest. Can gather for goldfishes. No wrinkle.
Okay. Well, sounds like you're doing fine in there now. Just make sure you don't go anywhere.
Jelly.
At least we helped this guy. I think. Best we leave it locked up, though. We have no idea what it is, and we don't need any more problems out here.
Well then. That was certainly an experience. I would not make the Among Us meme if it wasn't literally the perfect setup for an Among Us meme. 3 astronauts went out, 4 came back, and they couldn't figure out which was the fake among them. If there was ever any time for an Among Us joke, it was here. Now, where's Spider Time? I gotta hear Spider Time again. We'll just start from here and move forward. Right, we need an elevator. But what if all of them are sus? Then eject them back out into space, I'd say. Yeah, literally the case that they were I mean, I guess it's a who turned out the lights situation. I don't care about Doctor Who. Surprise! Professor doesn't care about Doctor Who. But, yeah, literally the 4th astronaut was just a hollow talking spacesuit. I noticed that a lot of the streamers or a lot of the VTubers I did watch, ultimately, a lot of them focused on there we go. Okay. I just had to melee it the entire time, you know, literally the one function that we basically never used. But a lot of the VTubers I did actually focus on and generally care for were the more performative ones that weren't really trying to play a character. At least the couple of VTubers I watched were ones that weren't doing any voice acting and were at least doing a very good job of keeping up the appearance that character's in fact a talking spacesuit. Yeah, as some of the documentation said. Case files, wouldn't it be? Yeah. Yeah, AWE. And it was the Framaro. 32 hours after the return of the Apollo 14 command module to Earth, the Bureau was contacted by Mr. Blah 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 blah. They learned that zoom in. They learned that 4 astronauts had returned to Earth instead of the expected 3. Each human crew member was insistent the mission left with 4 members, though they couldn't name the 4th when asked. The entity seemingly affected their memory to make its presence feel unremarkable. The entity was transported back to the oldest house for further investigation. AWE-7, do we have more of a description on... Altered item. Huh. That might be the only correspondence we have on it. Only here to see me grow, so I can finally call me a big shot. Well, I appreciate it. I don't really have any conditions that I'd say for what I want out of my viewers. Just as long as I make someone happy. Because a lot of these interactions are still two-way, and we could all use a bit more happiness right now. Alright, I know it was after the freestyle, so it's further ahead. It's probably in the loading bay, right? Don't think I found the document that said it. Then we might have a bit more searching to do. If there's any bad guys that spawn in here, I'm just gonna ignore them. Yeah, keep screaming. A lot of my distaste with streaming culture in general is that there's sort of an ambiguity between understanding that it is a performance, one, and how genuine it is an interaction. I think it was in the control room for one of the turntable bridges. So it would have been backwards then, right? Yeah, we don't have the... So it will be... There we go, lower axis. I was mostly interested in the flawed but honest performances of a lot of the budget VTubers, which are actually the people I watch now. I haven't watched any HoloLive since last July. Right, it was up... This map is so confusing. It was up to access the next turntable. That's what it's called, thank you. Okay, so that's where we need to be. Bridge operator. Or, allegedly, is there a way for us to get in there? Do we literally have to break in? No, there's a door in there from some other direction. The map isn't exactly going to tell us. Is that the music or is someone knocking at my door? No. Seems unattended. Unoccupied. Has a little bit of a heart-to-heart there, error, that is... an opinion I feel about myself all too often. Although... usually I value others' happiness more than my own, which I do have a tendency to burn myself out trying to work too hard making other people happy, but for as little effort as it is sitting in front of a computer and playing a video game for 2 or 3 hours, I hear such comforting words from so many of my viewers, and it really has done a lot for me. Since I couldn't really make myself happy, I've noticed I've done a lot better about making other people happy. And then, as such, it tends to return to me that way. Perfect. Have some peace and quiet, please. See, now that's a good and obvious sound cue for when those guys are about to fire. Tells us exactly what's going on. Where did you come from? You know, when they're on low enough health, we just can grab them outright. Easy. Let's hit him with buckshot. I only need one. There, is that finally done with? Now we just gotta figure out how to get back in here again. Eri, you're not permitted to talk like that in my classroom. I will allow no self-deprecation. Unless you're a grappler or zoner main. It's just not well illuminated anymore after the bridge moved. And I think it moved counterclockwise, so... it should be... oh. Funny that that says bridge operator, and yet that's not where it actually goes. Come on, I just want spider time. Yeah, I can hardly see a thing in here. Oh, okay. It was actually very obvious, but look at that. Look at that. Maybe it's the ring light shining in my face that makes it a bit difficult for me to see, but right there, that just looks like void right there. No way for me to tell that there's an entrance. Alright. Run it by me one more time.
Okay, we're gonna try this one more time, and then we're done playing with you. Understand?
Jelly.
Where are you from?
Jumbo Grant. Up and loose and heavy treat sandwich.
Jesus Christ, does anyone have any idea what this thing is saying?
Hotly. Dirt arrange you.
Why are you here? What the hell do you want? Why'd you stow away on that ship?
School bearing, boy. Eyes many cauterizing loops through and about. Wind and Windy Mitchell.
Did he just say Mitchell? Was there a Mitchell at NASA?
Tubes.
You know what? Never mind. I can't do this anymore. Just send this thing to the guys in research. Let them cut it up or whatever they do. You hear that? They're gonna cut you up, you pain in the ass.
Spider time.
Worth it. Absolutely worth it. Oh, love that so much. It's so difficult to improvise dialogue like that, but that'd actually be that's an interesting computer science experiment. Create a program that mimics the structure of that language, in a sense. You mostly just need to pick roughly half the words in your sentence to be replaced with similar types of words. Replace nouns with, it might be about a third. Replace nouns with other nouns. Replace adjectives with other adjectives, so on and so forth. So the structure of the sentence is kept the same, but replace a few words. You can tell. You can tell that was an absolute joy to voice act. I'd be cracking up in the booth. I wouldn't have been able to read all of that. Do we have any actually interesting... I'm not interested in Shum. Know what? I enjoy this game enough that I think we can go ahead. Do a couple of the side missions, too. This is something we never even looked at, even though it was unlocked right after beating the game initially. Spider time. But before we do that, I hit the mute button too early. Real quick break. I'm going to grab myself another drink because the dry throat is going to need it a lot. I don't know if I had the chance to say good night and goodbye to you, Error, but no, you never waste my time, absolutely not. I enjoy any viewer who shows for any reason whatsoever, and I hope that you rest well. Of course, I'm never going to forget you. I can't forget anyone out of the first few months of streaming that I do.
Hey, I found a file on the old director, Northmore. Didn't list any dated death.
While there is such a small audience that we regularly pull, no way I could forget so few faces that regularly attend.
I found this token. Any idea what it does?
Ah, that is a jukebox token. Little bastards turn up in the weirdest places. Like bad pennies. The Rangers use them to activate an old object of power.
A jukebox, I assume. Does it have any good songs?
Nope, just the one record. Hey, be careful turning it on, though. When it's playing, you get a free trip to the formation.
The formation? That sounds ominous. Why does it send you there?
The Bureau has been wondering that for years. I mean, it's just a pile of rocks built by God knows who, but... Well, researchers have confirmed it's in the same threshold as the quarry. Well, no one's ever been able to map a physical route through the formation from maintenance.
So it's in the quarry. You just don't know where.
Pretty much. We only send in annual expeditions to the formation now. Checkups, Salvador calls them. This year's team went in the day the hiss arrived. Come to think of it, the song should have brought them back hours ago.
I can go in and take a look.
I'd appreciate that. The jukebox is kept just past the security booth over there. Just put in the token and enjoy the ride.
Simple enough.
I'll see you later.
You know where I'll be.
Have we been earning them in the background this entire time?
Welcome back, Director.
Or did we only just now unlock the ability to find them? Alright, where the heck it... Did we ever look in here?
We're gonna be fine.
Ah, there's wells. We don't really care about learning about control points. That was something we should have found a long time ago. Jukebox is where? I would hope it's extremely conspicuous. It's past the metal detector. Okay, okay. After all, this place is conspicuously illuminated now. Okay, hold on. Let's fix that real quick. Ah, I can breathe again. Alright, I'm just gonna have to periodically do that this entire time. Hello there. To earn unique mods. Interesting. We'll see what we're going on with this. What's going on with this little challenge here? Though, the least interesting part of the gameplay here is the combat. So if this is really just a combat challenge, like the stuff that's going on with Shum, I'll admit I'm not very interested. Blowing my nose again. I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy all the spicy ramen. A whole 30-minute expedition, huh? Allegedly. We're playing an anime fighter with this many air dashes. Okay, never mind. This looks like it could actually be kind of fun. Also, it will be over very, very quickly since we are now way past the level that we need in order to engage with these guys. Thanks. Take another shot here, and... I just need to get that hot potato out of my hands as quickly as possible. Add... cleanse the 3 broadcast plates. So I imagine this is less of a kill sequence and more of a gauntlet that we have to get through. In other words, we need to get to the top of a certain platform section and cleanse something here. Hence the timed mission setup. It's not a kill a certain number, it's a get to a certain location while there's a lot of obstacles in your way. Ah, this looks like it. And these are the aforementioned things that will be in my way. Okay, so it's gotta be wherever the enemies are near these locations, it looks like. It's also long as indicated by the timer and you only have 1 life. Fine enough. My question for you, James, is there, or are there any other interesting missions to do? If the last few missions we have aren't that great, then I might want to end the stream at a healthy enough time when, well, dying takes time. Speaking of dying, it has been 2.5 hours, and I think my moderate illness is still catching up to me. While I am still very capable of streaming, I'd like not to overexhaust myself. That might be it then. Just remember, that would essentially make this the final episode of Control on this channel if there is not anything more interesting to be doing here. What still needs to be cleansed? Are there still a few goons hiding around here? There we go. Heck, since all these enemies are underpowered, we can probably just use the standard grip, right? Or spin. That should do it. Oh, we have to stand in here. That's what we do. I discovered that the instant you sent the message. Funny. Easy. Alright. Never mind, this isn't going to be difficult at all. Ah, we still haven't unlocked the Grand Slam. So it's the King of the Hill game mode, huh? You blame chat delay. That would essentially mean that you've informed me of that before I made the discovery myself. Congratulations. As always. You are slightly more durable than the rest of the rabble here. Go fix that problem over there. Both of those problems. Presumably we can return, right? Though weird having to use so many keys to navigate something. Normally I'm used to using a lot of buttons on a controller, and from there I can easily develop muscle memory, but this involves a lot of buttons. It's like I'm playing Overwatch again. Well, I do enjoy my technical games, that is for sure. Retrieve the lost specimen data. I mean, I shouldn't literally be standing on the excavation site, but what are we doing here? Curious that there was a skeleton all the way out here. Did one of the previous teams die? Expire? Perish?
Squad Captain Lopez, reporting on Expedition 17B. At the formation now. No distinction from the previous visit. The link detectors are still standing. One arch has a light flashing, so we're gonna give the area a once-over. Then we'll head back. Lopez out.
You've spent 10 of your minutes on one of the challenges. Well, we just need to speed up the rest of them. No, this should not be difficult at all. I'll just need to pick up the pace. It took me forever to figure out that we just had to stand on those spots. Because normally whenever we cleanse those locations, sort of, Oh. I already forget. What was the name of the giant dodecahedron that we thought Polaris was in? The geometric shape that was setting up to be the fake-out first ending. In that one, we basically had to clear out the enemies so that we could interact with the little spots and release our caged friend. I didn't think it would be so simple as just hit, of course. Of course the dodecahedron would be named Hedron. Or Hedron. Well, since they're all combat challenges, maybe they all will take a lot longer. We'll gauge if this one ends up being 5 minutes or less. I'm waiting. Perfect. Not difficult at all. Don't think I'll make it in time. Well, this might be our somewhat anticlimactic finale. Although, while it is the finale, it wouldn't necessarily be the climax. We already reached that with Dr. Hartman and his very uncomfortable physiology. Nightmarish, even. Two cleared, and 13 minutes remain on the clock, which means we are somewhat returning to schedule. Presumably out of a total of 25 minutes, if we have taken roughly 12 on the first half. We might have a chance, unless they feature a ramping difficulty. Check that out. Just means now, as our final exam, we have to do a little bit of speed running, don't we? 30 minutes was the full time. I thought I saw 25 the instant I stepped in here. We don't technically need to fight those guys now, do we? Ah yes, more guys with faces punched inward. It's over here somewhere. Do we? Yeah, we have to stand still in order to do that, so let's get rid of these guys first. And you're going to help me. Which means we're gonna need Pierce again. Quickly now, before we are noticed once more. I don't know. This looks promising. And with a little bit of air dash platforming to be done in between. Of course, we could have just levitated through that entire course, but we are on a time constraint. The lecture is almost over. Oh, that was close. Or... okay. So it looks like these are things we need to pick up. Never doubt Professor's ability to speedrun. I work excellently under time constraint. Not under pressure in every case, though. One of my biggest difficulties, as you've seen, was, or well, James would have seen this, but our other viewers would have, and that was during any of the fighting game tournaments. I tend to have a little bit of trouble with pressure. Oh, well, never mind. So it wasn't a time constraint pressure, it was a difficulty pressure, which you have seen me succumb to. Oh hum. How anticlimactic, ultimately. What else do we have on the list? I think that's it for the interesting ones. Oh, never mind. We still have an opportunity. That cost us about 2 minutes, it looks like. Alright, pick this up, toss this in there. And the faster we go, the less of, or the fewer enemies we should have to deal with. After all, if we don't let them spawn too much, then we should be able to get this done very, very quickly. Now, how many of those cubes were we looking for? I see the platforms up here, but it doesn't look like we have an answer on any of these sides. My guess is 3 cubes. That's what it looks like. You're coming with me. And you will guard the operation. Now where the heck did that other cube go? I thought we tossed them both down here. Yeah, sure, we have to look for the bright red cubes, which of course are going to contrast their glow with the bright orange incinerator. Or, you know, get stuck in the terrain. Okay, there's one. We did actually toss it all the way in here. There's 2. Now we only have 1 more to find. That is not the glowing red geometry I'm looking for. But I would gladly accept your assistance. we see what seems to be a source of red light over here, although I suppose that was just the incinerator. Drat. Is this really the time constraint that we're going to lose to? We hadn't checked much over here, it looks like. No, that still seems to be sourced from the incinerator. Where the heck is that last cube? Voila! And luckily, not very far from the incinerator, is it? Energy renewal. Interesting. But we don't have the time. Professor clutched it. Ah, we're not done with the timer yet. So, one last challenge. Bit of speed platforming. And air dash, air dash, air dash, air dash. Oh. We still have one more challenge. Where the heck? That's not what we need to be shooting at. Oh, is it one of those invisible guys? Seems our biggest barrier is figuring out what's supposed to be happening. So... okay. There you are. Come on. Just run around. When we get close, he'll show. I've played far too much the hidden for this to be difficult for me. Triumphant we are. Very well. To the victor go the spoils. 25 minutes, with only 2.5 left on the clock. Well, I will check our mission log, but that might be the end of things here. This has been probably our second longest game journey, hasn't it? I still think we've done more Noida streams overall, haven't we? That'd be interesting, having a log of how much time we've spent with each individual game. Obviously, Strive will be first, as basically my entire first month of streaming was just Strive. Sure, I did some Oblivion, but it was mostly Strive. Pope's Collection, Connect with the Train. Do either of those sound like they're worth investigating to you, James? Most of the rest of the ones here are, well, silly little janitorial tasks. Trains and popes. And our ominous black pyramid again. Thank you, board, for all of your service. You have been an excellent guide even if you are a little ambiguous with your assistance. After all, you didn't want us to have both of the abilities when we were tackling the Foundation. There are more for completion in outfits. That's... I'll confess I'm not too interested in the 100% completion of this game. I've mostly enjoyed the story here and the atmosphere. The gameplay itself, the whole third-person shooter, is fun, but I feel like it drags on a bit too much. A lot of the combat sequences last far more than they feel like they should. And if there's no more spider time to be had, I think this was a wonderful course for us to bring close to. Well, there we have it. I'll call it there. Thank you everyone for spending your time with Control. It has been one of my, well, possibly one of my new favorite games altogether. I've had just an absolute blast playing this one. There might come a time where I will revisit this in the future, say post-debut, or after I would become the ever so alluded to big shot. I miss doing that. Tomorrow might be the beginning of Inscription, assuming I feel healthy at the time. It is possible I end up being ill again at any moment. It entirely depends on the weather down here. Regardless of how well I feel, I am definitely powering through Thursday and hopefully Friday with the new Dead Cells DLC that is coming out on the 6th. So, I hope to see you then too. Weekend is, I'm not sure yet, but possibly just guerrilla fighting game streams, or, if it turns out everyone's looking for Dead Cells, it will be more Dead Cells. And I want you to watch it, that is my absolute favorite game. And no one shows up. Crocodile tears, I'm not here for doing more of that performance garbage that we've been talking about this entire stream. I'm going to take a moment to let the throat rest as, well, Professor is going through his own exam right now of testing his limits with breathing. So, I wish you all a very good evening, or night, or morning, no matter where you are on the earth. And, hopefully, there will be a stream tomorrow. I will post up a schedule very soon after the stream is over, and I hope to see you all tomorrow for Inscription. Same time as usual. Dead Cells might start earlier, depending on how things turn out. But class is dismissed. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. I love seeing you all so much. I miss this. I spent a week away from it. I just miss this so much. So wonderful. Thank you all. And eventually, I'll have a real intro and outro card. That's the New Year's resolution number 1. Actual production value. A budget that can match just how magnetic and wonderful my personality is. Ha ha ha.